short video is just a explanation of how easy it is to get the autopilot running on the A2A Cessna 182. We're sitting on Broome Airport, runway 28, and we're going to do a quick trip to, or program in Derby. So enter that as a waypoint that we want to go to into the GPS. Look at the flight plan. You can see we have a magenta line there. Plane's already started. We're just going to take off, and not long after getting airborne and while still pointing down the runway, we're going to activate the autopilot, and we're going to have the plane climb to 2,500 feet and center itself onto the magenta line. The navigation selector switch is already on GPS, and when we get in the air, all we're going to select is press and hold the autopilot switch. Once that comes on, we're then going to select nav, then altitude, and put it in VS mode and arm it so it stops at 2,500 feet. So let's go put the landing lights on, first stage flaps, mixture full. I'll leave the GPS up there. Brakes off, and let's go. Airborne just after 60 knots. Get some altitude. Flaps away. Just get into a steady climb using the trim just to level out, climbing about 1,000 feet a minute. And look down here, and I'm going to press the autopilot, then nav, then alt, VS mode, change it to 1,000 foot per minute, and arm. The autopilot's now got control. Turn the landing lights off. We can probably climb a bit faster, but we're only going to 2,500. Just increase that to 1,300 feet per minute. And the plane's controlling the turn, and it'll intersect the magenta and track it. Very important that you have the GPS, the navigation source selected to GPS. And I just went autopilot, nav, altitude, into VS mode, arm. Now we can start leaning the engine just so we get our EGT up. And once we get our required altitude, which it should start dropping off shortly. There we go. This is the plane, the autopilot's doing all this, I'm not touching it. I'm just leaning the engine, allowing it to pick up some speed, and then we'll drop the RPM back down to about 2300. And we just bring back the throttle, try and get everything back into the green. And not trying to overspeed, staying in the green on the airspeed. Now one other thing I wanted to show, if we wanted to actually go back to Broome, we can just select the nearest, and then I say I want to go to Broome, enter, and the plane immediately turns around. The magenta line is now heading back to Broome, so the plane's turning around to follow it. and just continues to track it as required. Okay, hopefully that is of some use, and we'll see you in the next video.